Hey guys, Dad TFP here, and I'm with my best bud.
NiagaraTFP.
And we've got something really cool to share with you today.
Yeah, this is a map of New York City.
So these are a map of New York City with these awesome buildings, paper model buildings from that cool website where we can order them from called Wurlington Press.
So we're going to show this from different angles and show all the different buildings.
And so if you can notice, that big island in the middle is the awesome island of
Manhattan.
which is one of the cooler cities to visit in the world. There's so many tall buildings, and they got an awesome park in the middle, so it's always a great experience visiting good old Manhattan in New York City.
Yeah, this is what the actual north looks like.
And so one thing cool, that's the north, and then one thing cool is there's something called the Dumbo View, and that's from, let's show that angle so they can see what it's like.
The Manhattan Bridge is not on this map, but it would be somewhere right here.
Yep, and so it's in Brooklyn, where you stand on Brooklyn, you could look out across the river. It's very cool.
Yeah, here is what it looks like from the east side.
So I think let's go ahead and... All right, so as you can see, this is walking around this cool layout of a New York City building. So let's go through the building. So first off is the one and only Flatiron Building. That one is pretty cool to see in person. It's been under construction for about 5 years at this point.
Yeah, they were storing it, but for some reason it's been taking so long. I don't know why.
And it's famous for being one of the first skyscrapers, and also for obviously that unique Flatiron shape.
Yeah, it's a cool looking building right here.
Next up is the one and only, one of the coolest buildings ever created, ESB, otherwise known as the Empire State Building.
Yeah, here.
There you go. It's looks pretty cool in pictures, even cooler in person. And you could go up to the observation deck on top, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it faces the Flatiron Building.
Next up is the Citicorp Center building.
Yeah, that's right here.
And that's more of a modern skyscraper.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It's cool because it stands on only stilts right there.
And then it's one of represents one of the iconic banks in America, the Citicorp Bank. Next up is the AT&T building.
It's this one. It has a cool looking circle at the top.
Yeah, so look at the top of that one, right? That one's has a very unique top. Next up, another amazing historic building, the Chrysler Building. There you go. This is pretty cool. It's designed for Chrysler Corp, which makes cars, and as you can see, the top resembles kind of the chrome details on a Chrysler truck car back in the day. And for a brief period of time, it was the tallest building in the world, and I think for a couple months, and then it was overtaken by the ESB
Empire State Building.
Empire State Building. Next up is the Lever House.
It's this one down here.
All right, yeah, that one's kind of interesting too. It's probably one of the first apartment buildings, skyscrapers.
Yeah.
Seagram Building.
That's just across the street.
Just across the street. Yep, another cool New York building. Then we have the Woolworth Building. This is another one that you don't appreciate how cool it is. I'm pretty sure that for a period of time that was the tallest building in the world. Yeah. It has an awesome clock tower on top.
Yeah, this one doesn't have a clock tower. I think that one's next to the Flatiron Building.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
That's a MetLife Tower.
Oh, you're right. I got the two confused. All right, next up is the Lipstick Building.
You can see why it's called the Lipstick Building. It definitely looks like a lipstick.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a tube of lipstick. That's kind of cool.
Then
we have the Hearst Tower.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that awesome design. Very interesting.
Yeah. This is one of the few buildings where there's a skyscraper on top of a pre-existing building down there.
Yeah, so if you look on the bottom, so that there was an existing building, and they built a skyscraper on top of it. Kind of really cool.
Yeah, that's what it looks like in real life.
UN headquarters.
This one.
We've all heard of the UN. That's where the nations of the world get together to hopefully promote peace and dialogue versus conflict. And it's a pretty interesting building, a very modern building for when it was created. One World Trade Center.
Everyone knows this one.
Yep, this is created on the site of the original World Trade Center complex near the fountains representing Tower 1 and Tower 2 that were destroyed in the horrible September 11th attack. Next up, Bank of America Tower.
All the way right here.
That's a cool building, and it's something you really notice at the New York skyline because it has the antennas are lit, and so it stands out. Ellis Island. Ellis Island is pretty famous. That was it's near the Statue of Liberty. That's where a lot of immigrants from Europe, their first stop in America was at Ellis Island to be processed, and most Americans can trace their ancestry to one of their great-grandparents or grandparents coming through Ellis Island.
Yeah.
There you go. Next up, Federal Hall. Federal Hall is a cool building. It's the site where George Washington was inaugurated, and now they have a nice classical style building in its place. And that building's pretty old too, but it's not the original building that was there when George Washington was president. But there's a cool statue of Washington in front of it.
Yeah.
30 Rockefeller Plaza. 30 Rockefeller Plaza, pretty famous for being the home of NBC, Comcast for a while. You can actually go to the top of the Rockefeller Center, which is a pretty amazing view of the city. It's cool because it's open air versus some of the other viewing platforms in New York.
Yeah. This is, the top of the rock is the best view to see the Empire State Building.
Grand Central Terminal.
That's right here.
So our train system in America, in our big cities, we have these beautiful buildings that are the train terminals, and that's one of them. And we got a chance to be there earlier this year, and it's a beautiful building. Yeah. Brooklyn Bridge.
This is the bridge that we go on to go to Brooklyn, but yeah. There's another bridge right here. That's the view where you could see Dumbo.
Yeah, Brooklyn Bridge. Everyone's heard of it. It's pretty famous. It's a nice suspension bridge. Very iconic.
Yeah, very iconic bridge.
Washington Memorial Arch. Washington Memorial Arch. Very cool. It's what park is it by? Is it by Washington?
Washington. I think it's just called Washington Square Park or something.
It's by Washington. It's right there in Washington Square Park. It's a cool place where they got a fountain and things to see. When we visited New York in 2019, we saw a really awesome, amazing magician who was performing free shows by the arch, and that was kind of like, we still don't understand how the guy was doing some of his tricks. Grant's Tomb.
All the way right here. This is all the way in Harlem, so that's why there's an arrow pointing to it.
So Grant is one of the awesome American characters in our history, the general that led the Union to victory, then later on became president and did a lot of good work for the country. Actually spent some time in Geneva, Illinois, which is in Illinois, which is a pretty cool state.
Yeah. And
there's always this question of who's buried in Grant's tomb. Guess who's buried in Grant's tomb? It's Grant! U.S. Grant, of course. Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty, gift from our friends in France. It's kind of represents the immigration aspect of America. Subway number 1 train. So New York has
IRT train.
What's it called?
You can use this IRT train.
All right, IRT train. So New York has a pretty elaborate, nice public transportation system, and these subway trains represent that. You got the IRT, and then you have the subway train. A train.
Yeah, this one's just subway train.
And there you have it. That represents all the paper models that are available at Wurlington Brothers Press. So as you can see, there's a lot going on there. Very cool. It looks even better when you have it laid out on this cool map of Manhattan and the surrounding boroughs.
So here is a form where you can order all those postcards.
Yep.
So all the New York ones are here in the middle.
Yeah, and this is one we can get the complete set of all the New York paper models from Wurlington Brothers Press for $32 in shipping. So cool place.
Yeah, and then just like those other maps, here is the dates. So here is a picture of the map, and then here are all the buildings.
Yeah, very busy April and May. Knocked them
Yeah,
all
May
out.
17th
Awesome
is
job.
finished. So here's what the map looks like when we started putting this map together. And then here is another one, and then here is what the map looks like currently. And then here's what the actual north looks like. And then here is it from the other sides. Here is what that awesome view of New York from the Statue of Liberty.
Yep. Yeah,
And here's the Statue of Liberty view.
nice.
One World Trade Center.
Yeah. That one's awesome too.
UN headquarters.
UN headquarters.
That's Grand Central. Here is that awesome view of the Empire State Building from 30 Rock. Here is the view from Central Park. And then here's the AT&T building. Here is the Washington Memorial Arch.
Yep.
And then here is the financial district. And then here's the Midtown area back there.
All right.
There's
There's Chrysler Building. Very cool.
And then here's the top view of the whole map. And then if you have north on top, it looks like this.
Cool.
Yeah. Pretty awesome map by Wurlington Press.
Yep. All right.
Anyways, that's it for this video.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.